Dark and moody, moody and dark. It's been real from the start. Speak the truth, then you playing your part. Nothing fake here. We've been real since daycare. Some change, some stay there. Came from the streets, we speak for the streets, we speak for the youth. Nothing but truth. Feel it in the booth, feel it in your soul, feel it in the cell, feel it on parole, feel it on probation, feel it when you free, totally free. Pardon me, till they pardon me, till they pardon we. Positivity from negativity, back to positivity. The podcast for the streets, helping you eat. We live by the code, we live what we speak. We revolutionize real love, honor, respect, loyalty, educating the masses, bringing unity. It's all or nothing. The podcast for you and me is Dark and Moody. We the voices of the community.
I hear voices right now. I can hear them just as plain as day.
Yeah. What up? This your boy Dark.
And this your boy Moody, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's Dark and Moody, all or nothing. Know what I mean? We got a special guest in the building. Know what I mean? People talking about, yo, y'all always got New Haven dudes on the show. You don't got no cats from other places. We had Bridgeport dude on the show. Mike Jones, the football player, NFL dude, played for Minnesota Vikings. We had a few Hartford cats. But, you know, we invite people up here. Dudes come out and show the love, man. We show love. We get love back. It's all love, man. We love Connecticut. You see what it say behind my man head. Straight out of Connecticut. Not straight out of New Haven, not straight out of Bridgeport, not straight out of Connecticut, man. You know what I mean? And we rep this shit. Word up. So straight up and down, yo, first and foremost, tell my people what's your name, man, and where you from, man. Rep that shit.
I'm from Bridgeport. I'm from the South End. Originally grew up in the Greens, one of the original Green Boys. They call me Louie. I used, just got out, doing 26 and a half years.
Word. Mm-hmm. My boy King Louie in the building, you know what I'm saying?
26.
26. How many years you did, Moody?
25.
25.
He got me beat.
Yeah, I did mine straight.
Yeah. What you do straight?
I did 25. I did 28 altogether.
All right. Yeah. I did 17, man. Yeah, I mean, I probably got like 24 under my belt. It was horrible.
Yes.
It is what it is, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yo, we know what I mean? We want to ask my brother Louie, man, how you grew up, man. What kind of like household you grew up in, man? Like what it looked like for young Louie, man.
Well, like I said, I grew up in the Greens, originally from Stratford Avenue to the Greens.
What's the Greens for people who don't know? Because I don't know.
One of them, one of the major projects in Bridgeport, high rises. And I grew up like any old other youngster out of the projects, straight project nigga.
Yeah, I'm a project dude too.
Yeah,
I don't think my boy a project dude though. Right there, man.
I got project baby. Though.
Yeah.
I'm a project dude. I'm from the island, man. Quinnipiac Housing Project.
I know that's right.
Salute to all the project dudes, man. Salute the street corner dudes too.
That's it.
Word up.
100%.
But, the project's a little different. It's a more family. The project is more family, right? You agree with that?
Yes.
You didn't what's the other project? I won't say it wrong. Is it Father Benning?
Right. Yeah, I wasn't from the village. Yeah, I grew up in Marina after the Greens.
What's the Greens? I heard of PT.
The Greens are the high rises by the police station.
You got the Greens, the Terrace, right?
The Terrace. Then you had the Village, McQuanics. Then they knocked them out. Marina Apartments, Marina Village. I was representing Marina Apartments.
I just say that wrong, right? I'll be with my mans. I'll be like, nigga, I'm from Marina Village. So they I'm just playing. You just my dude. So they didn't, you said it's the Marina Apartments, and then it's the Marina Village, and I ain't know the difference. So then niggas like, what part you from?
Yeah,
like, nigga, I'm from Marina.
Yeah, I represent the apartments. So my whole life I was street hustler.
Yeah, but let's go before that. Like how what kind of household you grew up in?
I grew up in the households, just moms and my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And she, single mother. grew up trying to take care of us the best way she knew how. You know, love and respect to my moms first
Shout
and
out to the
foremost.
moms, man.
And I was the type of young dude that, you know, did what I want. I was unsupervised.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't
heard a
listen to
story.
nobody.
I heard a story, the 8-year-old story. Give me that.
Oh,
real
okay.
quick.
When I was youngster, on the avenue, I used to live across the street from the post office. So a couple buddies of mine and all that wanted to go break in this factory down the street. And they needed me as a lookout. They ain't had no problem. I go with them, 8 years old. I'm on the roof watching out. Next thing you know, I hear a gunshot. Boom! So I'm sitting on the roof. All the youngsters start jumping out. All the teenagers. When I look down into, you know, thing, I see one of the dudes was deaf. I see him holding like a cash register or something. And the other dude, I see him with the hands up. And the dude's like, Louie, jump. I was so scared, man. I pissed on myself. I couldn't jump or nothing, man. I heard that gunshot and froze, man. It started shaking all type of shit.
Yeah.
That's what started my my path to, you know, being a hood brother, man, you know?
Yeah. So boom, at 8 years old, when you did that, like what grade you was in and what school you went to?
I was in McKinley School over there in Stratford Avenue. What grade I was, Puppy? Your guess be good as mine at that age, man. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Probably what was that? 3rd, 4th grade, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe,
Yeah, I was there and I was wild, bro. I was one of them kids that I had an explosive personality, so you know it carried me through my whole life because I've always been like a torpedo, man. I was down for anything, just straight ahead, man. I looked in front of me, didn't worry about what was behind me, man. You know.
Yeah.
So you know that started my path into, you know, where I'm at now. You know, so you know after that I got caught trying to steal a mail truck.
How old was you then?
Same thing. 9 years old.
8 years old trying to steal a truck?
I stole it. I ain't tried to steal it.
Oh, you stole the truck?
I stole the truck crashing into a house.
Yeah.
That's why I got busted.
Yeah, 8 years old.
Yeah, 8, 9 years old, man.
And you was dolo? You was by yourself?
Yeah, I was by myself.
Yeah. The mail truck was it was sitting.
It was just sitting in the parking lot behind the post office.
He was just, when I met my guy right here,
Mm-hmm.
this is a real story. I met my man in juvie, right? He was like 12.
I was a car thief.
He was 12. He was in there for stealing a car. Yeah, I was in there for, I had some gun charges or something. I got caught with a few guns as a kid, but my man, he was in there for stealing cars, man. And we've been tight.
I did a long lane bid for that.
Man, I was a long lane. I
What
was long
cottage?
lane.
What cottage?
For Break, A.
B though.
Using B?
I'm in B.
I was in for
I'm in
Break
B.
A.
I'm in B. I'm in B.
Yeah,
Salinga, Mr. Salinga and all them.
I was before that. Remember, I was there in the early 80s.
Yeah.
I don't know Mr. Salinga.
Yeah.
You know,
You was in the 80s too, right?
Nah, 91, 92.
Yeah. By 84, I stopped going
right?
there.
He a grandfather. My boy got grandkid.
Shit, me too. My grandson 21.
Yeah. Oh, you different. Yeah. His grandkid like 3, 4.
Used to escape a lot from the long lane.
Yeah.
Used to have to jump out the window,
He
hanging
still
from the bars.
escaped from Long Lane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
I walked home.
Huh?
I walked home from Middletown. I walked home.
Walk. Man, I used to have I had a friend of mine that was from Hartford. And I might be saying his name wrong, man. I think his name was David Dorback. I'm saying that's a Bridgeport dude. Broadnax from Hartford. He had wrote me a map to a garage. He used to always tell me, man, listen, man, whatever you do, because when you go in the garage, I got everything in it. Just take one screwdriver what you need. And they always replace it, man. Please don't mess it up, man. So he made me the map when we was in the unit in Long Lane.
To his crib.
And you know, all I need is a screwdriver. I'm gonna steal me a car from them no projects that be around
Yeah,
there.
right there. Right. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
The minute I had that screwdriver, it was right across from the cemetery at.
Yeah.
Man, I was gone after that, man.
Neck something?
Naked. All day long.
Yeah.
Naked and go.
I walked once and then the next time
Why hitchhike?
Yo, what was your best way to steal a car, man? Back in the day.
You're a pulley. I was the pulley. I had a team. Me and my man. My man jumped in the car. I jumped in the driver's seat. He jumped in. Boom, we out.
Right.
Yeah.
The necking, that's when you dolo. I could pulley dolo, but I used to like being my man. You handle that, so when you
right, he out the way. Yeah.
How old was you when you first stole the car?
10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was about that age.
Your cousin, nigga.
Breakdown.
Real anything I love. Breakdown in now.
Yeah.
Them niggas like, yo. They like, yo. They like, yo, it was a Nova right there. Nigga like, yo, y'all niggas want to drive? I'm like, what y'all niggas about to do? Nigga like, we about to steal it. You think y'all niggas about to steal it? Nigga jumped in it. Nigga like, yo, you can drive next. I said, I can drive?
And you was 10.
It
was over. All right. So, boom, we in the mail truck. What happened with this mail truck, man?
Crashed to the front, hit the house, man. That's all I remember.
You
Tried to jump on and had two good Samaritans want to snatch me up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what started my road into the lifestyle that we found ourselves in, and later on in life, man.
All right.
I got into, you name it, man. I've done it all, man.
We need it, man. We need some of this.
I done broken houses, stole cars, home invasions, store robberies. Man, I did robbery. I got a funny story one time about a robbery I did back in the days. I seen this lady walking down the street. I ain't gonna say where's it at, all that, details and number. And I told my homeboys, man, pull over, man. When she comes to the block, I'm gonna get her. It was like, all right. So we hit the corner. I jumped out the car and I got the motherfucking rifle on me. And I'm waiting for her to come to the corner. I said, yo, stick up. Lady look at me, what you mean stick up? She said, why don't you go right on the white people? I ain't trying to hear that stuff you trying to rob. I said, listen, lady, all I know one color is green. Oh, my bad. I said, that's the only thing I respect is green. She was like, what you mean that's all you respect is green? I was like, yeah, lady, that's all I respect is green. So, my apologies, fellas. So I got the gun and she said, oh, that's all you respect is green? Man, that lady hauled off and slapped me. Bah! She said, I told you go rob a white person. Well, I said, but I got a gun. She said, I don't give a fuck. Get the fuck out of here. I just dropped the gun.
You dropped it?
No, down in front, because I had it at her.
Yeah.
I just dropped it down here, put my hand down and walked away, man.
Yeah.
If she was bold enough to slap me, I ain't need to rob her, man. You know what I'm saying? She slapped the shit out of me, man. I'll never forget that.
How old was you then?
I was about 15 years old, man.
Yeah. Word.
I told her, but I got a gun. I don't give a fuck. Don't rob a white person.
You took her advice?
Yeah, I done did it all, man. Back then, when I was doing robberies, I used to, after that, I ain't want to show my face because I was hitting blocks with the crew of people, and I used to come everywhere, man. Back then I was on a terror.
And this was all in Bridgeport. You took your act on the road,
man. Listen, I've been through all the towns.
Yeah,
doing everything. When
different states too, or just
no, just Connecticut.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna sit there and try to ump myself up all the different states. Just just local. Everything that was within car driving distance where a person can hit and run. So that's what I was doing. And then later on in life when I got in my 20s. I sold a little drugs here and there when I was younger, just weed. And then I shot the son of a cop in high school when I was a kid. I got 7 years for that.
How young was you?
I was 16.
16?
Yeah, I got out when I was 20. So when I got out when I was 20 years old, that's when I started, getting into the drug game, man. And, I was with somebody in jail. And when I met him, when I came home, he was the one that was running the hood at the time,
Yeah.
I told him to put me on. He hit me out with a little ounce, and I went from there,
An ounce of cocaine?
Oh, yeah. So, I started doing my dipping and dabbing. And then one time, mom's boyfriend got me for like 20-something thousand.
So you was doing good. You made 20 bands, doing all right.
Yeah, but he got me. I ain't do all right after that. I was mad as mom,
Yeah.
So
you don't like that. You don't like somebody getting you.
Yeah.
Right now, nigga, owe 500. I'm trying to chase it.
Yeah, I need that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then when I went to jail, that's back then when I don't know if y'all you was in jail back in the beginning of the wars. With the start of the wars back then when it was the towns.
No doubt.
And I ended up being recruited as a king.
So you became a king in jail.
Yes,
All right.
back in '90.
Yeah.
And I got an exclusive. We're gonna remind me to come back with on that right there, because the person I told you I was with earlier,
Yeah.
he wanted me to salute them. You know,
Okay,
You
so
can salute him.
no,
Yes.
no. I was just with my man Trent, and Trent was, he was like, yo, and this before I, told him that somebody was coming on. He's like, yo, the only gang I respected was the Latin King gang, because they was a family. He said in jail, he said he made them niggas and Brotherhood niggas made niggas band together because they was that deep in jail. They was disciplined in jail, and they made them other groups in jail tighten their shit up.
Yeah. Because when I first went in the early '90s, New Haven didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
Like ECB came after when I was in there. Dudes started coming together and created the Elm City Brothers and all of that. But
that was early '90s.
Early '90s, yeah. It wasn't nothing like it. Wasn't no ECB. It was the island, the jungle, the trade, the Ville,
Right.
KSI, West Hills, and we was all separate. And we was going at each other in jail, and then we going at it with Bridgeport cats, with Hartford cats, and we was getting picked apart.
Right.
True. Because
it was so then you beef with your man, then they're going after you and you and your crew. Yeah.
But then you'll get caught. I got caught in some stuff, and I was in Bridgeport in 1995. You know what I'm saying? My man's in them, they fuck with the King, so I'm there. And another dude get into it with the King and shit. You know what I'm saying? So the King dude said something. I went to my man, he went and checked him, like, yo, that's my people's, Moody, my people's.
Mm-hmm.
So now, but when I was in there now in '95, something happened between the Kings and somebody else. I forgot who it was. And niggas gave me a shame. He said, fuck you niggas giving me a shame for? He said, because niggas don't care, nigga, that you from New Haven, nigga, you blacking over there, you associated with them niggas, them King niggas, they coming for you. So if we brotherhood over here, nigga, you brotherhood now too.
So they just put you in it.
Yeah, no, but I fuck with King. So I'm like, niggas know who I am, nigga. I got nothing to do with that.
I don't need that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So at the time when I became a King, I was young, wild, 20-something years old, 20, I think I was 21, 22. And 22. And, I was doing what I do. Back then it was, whoever ran it gave you something, go. You know how it is in jail.
Mm-hmm.
You on that go status,
Right. You'll stab that dude in front of the bubble.
Yeah.
Right there,
him, go. So, and then, how I, made my bones. Me and some bros, man, when we was in North Avenue back in '91, it was 6 of us. We ran from 37 block, went up in the lieutenant's office and went to work. Mm-hmm. We punished everything up in there.
Yeah.
So
lieutenants, captains,
everybody that was in there.
Yeah.
You can look it up. They got this. It was in the newspaper. I was on TV and everything.
Yeah.
So after that, they set me up to Summers. And I ended up being the case because the 6 of us, only 3 got 2 years. The other 3 got our cases dismissed. And I was one of the 3. That's before the Kings was labeled that hard brand. You know what I'm saying? Because this was the beginning of our notoriety.
Mm-hmm.
Before they clamped down on us, So that's
what joint on paper. Because as soon as you come in, everybody.
Right now it's different.
They got all the niggas.
Yeah, lined
ECB,
up.
99, Lane King. Listen, boom, it's right on the wall.
Yo, what? All right, let me ask this, right? Because when I was incarcerated, they had for Spanish gangs. You had Latin Kings, you had Nietas, you had the Solitos, Latin Locals.
Right.
I think I'm missing one. What made you go this way though, and not Nieta?
Okay, because at the time Nieta wasn't out when I became a King.
Yeah,
they was a organization, but they wasn't in Bridgeport known at the time.
Because when I was locked up as a youngster in New Haven, Nietas was running New Haven jail at that time.
Right, but see, we remember I'm going back before y'all. I'm going back to the early '90s.
Me too, yeah.
Right. There was no Nietas out in back in the early '90s.
Like when I used to be in.
What 90 you talking about? I'm going back to 90.
91, 92.
See, in 91, I was in.
I'd be sleeping in the cell.
Cheshire.
Nieta, asociación, nieta, all night.
Yeah, when I was out there, I ain't never heard none of that.
Huh?
You might be right. I'm saying when I was there.
That's how it was when I was in there.
Yeah. That's the grite. That's they call.
All night.
Yeah.
Nieta, asociación,
Yeah,
all night. I'm like, these niggas, man.
Yeah, they had. That's like that's their freedom call. Anyway, after I became known and all that, well, maybe became a king. All the homies, the king started off as Bridgeport dudes. First started it. 2 of them went to the feds. When they came back from the feds, they brought the name, and the dude that was running, who they considered, the shot caller for Bridgeport, they brought it to him and introduced him what Kingism was about. And then from there, they started that walk of, it was mainly Bridgeport dudes. And then there was only one New Haven dude, Macho, the first one from New Haven. So I came in I came in on the second wave. So, and that's when we was establishing ourselves, who we were, and then, all, like I said, the ECB came out, the Love came out, the Solidos just came after the war with the locals, and what have you, the Brotherhood, Nation, because, I knew Artie, that was the godfather for the Nation. I knew Mogi from the Brotherhood. I knew all them dudes back then because, we all grew up together. So, and this time, I was still making my bones for the Nation. When the day I became a king, I was part of, I started a riot for them in Cheshire. So, and I did that not to become a king, just on GP, because somebody had told on me, long story short, I ended up knocking the dude out, and it started a riot. A lot of good men that was part of it. And after that, they like, yo, you already did this, and they introduced me to Kingism. So, back then you couldn't tell me now I was young, brash. I used to have the earrings, the necklaces, everything all black and gold all the way down. I had even had my ankles. You couldn't tell me a motherfucking thing. Young and proud and full of fire. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? And I used to be a tricker. I used to walk around Cheshire with them, the big fat candy canes. I walk all that shit. I used to be like this. Niggas used to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? What the fuck is wrong with you,
Yeah.
What the fuck, you weird or something? I'm like, nah, nigga, I love candy cane, motherfucker. Shit. So then after that, I got shipped to North Avenue. That's when the stuff with the CO happened. We ran up to the lieutenant's office and did that work. And then they sent me to Summers. Like I said, I ended up beating that case. And then the case I was locked up for, because they hit me with attempted murder and assault first, I had a $250,000 bond. I ended up beating that case. But when I beat that case, they had just gave me the case for jumping on the CO. And I made bond on a Saturday, and they didn't let me out until Monday morning. Then that Monday morning is when they burnt the dude alive in the SAG in Cheshire. I mean, up in Summers, forgive me. You heard about that?
Yeah.
When they burnt him alive, I was there for when that happened. So
you smelled it? He smelled like chicken?
I was in the front. I was in 3-cell.
Yeah.
It smelled like chicken. It woke me out my sleep, man, the smell.
Yeah.
The dude walked out of his cell talking shit. He died on Lifestar going to the hospital.
Yeah.
But he walked out the cell.
Talking shit.
Because he was on the other side. I was in the front on 3-cell. Because this side was odd, 13579. Yeah. The other side was a 2468. You know how it is in Summers. And over there F block. And I was in 3-cell, the second cell. And I heard him. They said when he walked out of the cell, his skin was pouring off of him like water. Because they threw firebombs on him when they killed him. So I made bond right after that. I went home. So, long story short, I was, that's when I was doing my robberies with what you call in the Nation. We wasn't allowed to do none of that. They brought me up on charges in the cipher.
Kings wasn't allowed.
No, you wasn't allowed to get high, do robberies. That's all part of our growth. You're supposed to be changed as a man and become, fundamentally stable through education, substance. You know how it goes. So, me, I still had that wild mentality in me. but that's why I used to wear my mask. But everybody knew my style of robbery, so they knew it was me. So when they came to question me, they had me in the cipher. I told them all, did I rob you or your family members? No. I asked them all. They were like, no. And your friends don't count. As long as I ain't rob you or your family members, you ain't talking about nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm still in the middle of the cipher getting, charges brought up on me. So when the charges got dropped on me because they couldn't prove it, then some brothers came, back then when they used to give you the passes from jails back then. Furloughs from every jail. They was waiting. Right when I got found not guilty, the dude stepped in the thing and said, oh, well, it's a good thing y'all found him not guilty because even if the guy got found guilty, he's the new shot caller out here. And they all had the paperwork because the dude that was running Summers at the time was the one that trained me as a king.
Yeah.
And he's the one that gave me the name Football Head. They used to call me the Almighty Football Head.
The Almighty
Football Head. They call me Football Head Louie.
Yeah.
So that's how the Kings know me, man. All the old heads and all that. Because, and the dude that gave me my training was the one that gave me my power.
Yeah.
So I was the youngest crown in the state ever. I was the age of 23. So I ran men through the jails and on the streets. So I'm the one that was the...
You was the shot caller.
I was that. I was that
King,
motherfucker.
You was King Louie.
I was third in line of the crown.
So let me ask you a question. When the dudes had you on court right there, and then that paperwork came, like, oh, this
he's the man now.
How you felt towards them now? Did you be like, yeah, bro?
No, but one thing I learned when I was,
and for those who don't know though, bringing you up on the charges was the Kings bringing you up on charges, not the police.
No, it was the Kings.
Yeah.
I was trained properly, and I understood that protocol was to be met, and it's never personal. I used to have a lot of problems with people. A lot of people hated me back in the days because I used to always tell them, "Don't never give me permission to do to you what I gotta do." And people used to always look at me like I was weird. What you mean I'm giving you permission? Well, when the day you became a king, that means you agreed to our bylaws and everything that we represent through our Constitution and our understanding. You took an oath to say, yes, I stand by that. So whenever you break any of that, as an appointed officer, I got to enforce what's in here. So don't get mad at me for enforcing what I got. What you telling me is okay for me to do to you. And I'm going to do it with pride. Because that's what I was chosen to do. It ain't personal, home.
Business.
Yeah. Boy, they hated me.
Yeah.
Boy, they hated old Louie, man. I got a lot of people out there that hated old Louie.
They come out with them shower shoes. What's gonna happen?
Oh man. Yeah, I used to tear their ass up. You heard me?
Yeah. How many people got bounced?
Behind me?
Yeah. You can count?
No. It's countless, man. It's too many of them.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something, man. When I got caught up with the Kings back in '94 and I caught that Rico, I was still wild, when I went to the feds because, Connecticut brothers didn't have a good rep. Period. Connecticut. We had a rep of being rats, no good child molesters and shit like that. I guess the motherfuckers that came before us was, and one thing I told them, man, well, you got the right one now. In them 26 years, I did all my time in the pens. Never been to a lower level. Been to the Supermax, but 7.5 years in Marion. And I never been to the East Coast because the administration shit wouldn't let me close to home. You understand what I'm saying?
You was in Terry Hawk?
No, I was in Colorado. From Colorado, I went to Marion. From Marion, I went to Lee County in Virginia. From Lee County, I went to Pollock. I was in Pollock for 12 years down in Louisiana. And then the last 2 years of my bid, I was in Southern California in the desert, And I met a lot of good people, bro. A lot of good people. And what made me change my perspective, because I learned a lot growing up and studying and being an honorable man amongst the kings, because you find yourself after a while. A lot of people think that, being in jail is something, you know, the Harper Pond. But you know, I be seeing a lot of stories on TV. I mean, you know, on the podcasts, and I, you know, because for some reason, man, I'm addicted to TikTok and YouTube, man.
Yeah.
You know, I be on. I ain't gonna lie. But you don't never hear people talking about the misery.
Yeah.
How you know you suffer when you ain't got nothing. How you know you be working, busting your ass to get $14, $19 a month, trying to make that stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And how you know you wake up every day, not certain at any moment what's next. You know, because you know when I was in the feds, man, you know the Spanish dude, we had a thing. You when that door cracked at 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, you better be suited and booted. And let them catch you not coming out that cell. When that door open, you better step out. You understand what I'm saying? And this was my whole bed, man. You know what kind of pressure and you know that built up animosity you have within you that you know what it is. You've been through it in your own way, but in the feds is different because you think because you know, man, I was a shark when I was home, man. I was a street legend. I was that nigga, man. I represented that. But then you meet dudes from different states. I met them country dudes. I met them Californians. You know, I met all the different swags from the United States, from Florida, Atlanta, you know, the Midwest, Chicago dudes from the top, from the bottom, from the West. And all these swags are different. But when you in the waters, a shark recognizes a shark, man.
Absolutely.
100%. No matter how country they might talk or how slow you may think they are, you see a good man in front of you.
You see a shark.
You recognize him. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And
who got the greatest swag?
In the feds?
I mean, you know, in your travels.
I met a lot of good men, man. I can't just put down as one, man, because you meet them from all calibers, man. I met.
So like it ain't a top five? No top
Well,
five?
let me tell you something. The number one bullies in the feds to me is them black hands from California. The Mexican mafia. I've never met nothing like it, bro. You understand what I'm saying? You heard about them?
I've read about them.
Well, so let me tell you something. I was with them.
Yeah,
I was amongst them. I know them. I knew a lot of them. You know, they know me. I got a lot of things that I can, you know, share with it, you know, but I don't know, people be impressed by stuff like that, you know. And
your story though, man. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm gonna tell you one quick story. When I was in Marion in the Supermax, I was in phase 2. When they put me in phase 2, you know, and the phase 1.
What's phase 2? What is it?
I'm about to break it down. Phase 1, you're in your cell, you eat in your cell, they bring the food to your room.
Can't come out.
Huh?
They say you can't come out.
That's not true. When you're in Marion, you come out. No, when it's time to eat, you don't come out your cell in phase 1. But you come out every day for 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
The only time you won't come out your cell, I don't care what it is, lightning. It could be a blizzard outside, they'll let you out. But if it's lightning, you ain't coming out that room. That's the only thing they won't let you out the cell. So, and it's all bars. So Marion looks just like Summers. It's the exact same jail. You understand what I'm saying? With the long ass hallway how Summers got. You know that straight long hallway? It's the exact same jail. Well, anyway,
phase 1 to phase 2.
Phase 2. I'm in phase 2 that day. So when I come out, phase 2 got 3 tables on the tier. So the first one is them country fed white boys, from ABs from California, the real ones. They got that table. The middle table is them Serenos. And then the third table is the black hands. But there's only 2 black hands on the table. So I get my lunch. I stand in front of the table. Boom, I got my tray. And I'm looking at them. They don't even look up at me. I walk away, I throw my tray on the floor. Boom, and I just stand there. Dinner time comes, I do the same thing. I stand at the table to be recognized. They don't look up at me. I go to throw the tray, and all the black dudes are standing up, eating on the range. Yo, you gonna eat that? Nah. So I gave it to them. Give me the tray back because you're responsible for your tray to turn it back in. So boom. The following day, I come back again, standing there for lunch. Got my tray. And one of them looked up at me. Orale, who are you? I represented myself, King Louie. He said, oh yeah. So they asked me about somebody that was within our organization. I told him, man, listen, if I got nothing positive to say about somebody, he's one of my people. There's no need for me to elaborate on what's going on, That man just looked at me, orale, sit down. And I sat down. Because, I got that mentality. I walked the same walk y'all did. I done did what you did. What you ain't did nothing I ain't do.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm doing it for bravado. I'm doing it because I'm a man first. And I feel I'm an honorable man. So I deserve a seat, man.
No
I don't deserve to be standing up over there. You understand what I'm saying?
Had you sat down without permission to sit down?
Oh, I would have got tore up.
Yeah.
They would have tore my motherfucking ass up. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. They would have crushed me. They'd have put that knife so deep in me, I wouldn't have known how to call for mommy then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, these experiences I'd have had within these jails started awakening me, man. Started lifting me. What scared me the most, I think I told you the story about the hangar, the military.
Yeah.
I was working in Unicorn, the factories in the feds. And I learned how to sew. I work now as a sewer. From learning how to sew in jail. One of the supervisors left for 2 weeks. I thought he went on vacation. So when he came back, he sees me. Louie, come here. They always call me Louie. All the police, and for some reason, they all want to call me Louie. Louie, come here. I come over there. Go, what's up? He's like, I seen you. I said, what you mean you seen me? You seen me now? What you mean you seen me? He's like, yeah, I seen you when I said, oh yeah, but I thought you went on vacation, right? He's like, no, I went to training for 2 weeks. And he said, I went on the military base. I forgot the military base he went on. He said, when they went in there, they was in the hangar. And they got all the bulletin boards of all the different organizations in the feds. And where he was sitting at was right in front of the bulletin board of the Kings. And he said he was sitting there when he was looking at the bulletin board. My picture sitting there on the dock. And he said, when he seen me, he stood up and said, hey, he works for me in the factory. He said, everybody in the hangar got quiet. And they all looked at him and he sat down. So I told him, man, I'm not like that no more. That's when I was young. Well, he said, man, you ain't got to explain it to me. Yeah. I'm just letting you know I seen you when I went to training in the hangar on the military base. So I told him, I said, what the fuck am I doing on military intelligence? You understand what I'm telling you?
No doubt.
That spooked me. That told me at that moment, who the fuck am I to be there when I shouldn't be there? It's time for me to look for something else because now I achieve a level of notoriety that I didn't want. You understand what I'm saying? So that started my change in my life, But before that,
yeah, you welcomed all the nonsense.
I welcomed all of it, because I mean, my whole life I was always a person that you couldn't tell nothing. Because my thing is, I'm doing me. I'm not bothering nobody doing me. Who the hell are you even trying to tell me what to do?
Yeah. I
wouldn't care what a person thought about me back then. I was literally living on a death wish, man. And sitting here today,
you felt like you was calling it? You was calling death?
No, I felt that I was a player in the devil's playground, bro. And I knew I was one of its
soldiers.
One of his how you call him? One of his disciples, man. I was one of them little devils, man. And he used me as one of his soldiers, yeah. And I don't say this over no preaching stuff because I ain't on that, but that's where I did. And I lived it in and out of jail all my life, man. And I cherished that, bro. And back then when I used to make money, money really didn't interest me. it was always
No
thinking
right.
ways of taking care of business. You know, that's where I thought I was at my best. Planning shit and taking care of it. You know? And I look back at it now and I wonder, what the hell was all worth it, man? It was the benefits to it. Because you sit and become something, but then you look back and say, where's my benefits?
No dental, no medical, no nothing.
My brother, dental medical, not a dime for nothing, man. You know.
You know, being in those
situations,
federal penitentiary,
right?
Who you ran across in your travels that people would know?
Well, I've been around Sekou Odinga from the Black Panthers. I've been around Tupac's father. He used to live 2 cells from me.
Matulu?
Mufumu Shakur. We used to call him Doc. I was around one of the cartels from I think it was number 5. Remember when Pablo Escobar and them started blowing up, like paid the FARC to blow up the Supreme Court and everything in Colombia when it was going against the government? Well, the dude that they sent, that they extradited him before all that started happening, I was with him. They used to call him the Mono. I was around the Mono. I was around the World Trade Center bombers dudes, the first ones, the ones with the blind shake. I was with Ajaj and Ibrahim. I was around with them. They was good friends of mine. I was around Tommy Manning from the Ohio 7. I was around Mark Valmay, one of the dictators from Haiti. I was around Patty Conti, one of the, main men from the mob. I was around, these are all good men, man. I met a lot of good men. I was around Pappy. Pappy's a dear good friend of mine. Pappy Mason from Queens. I know a lot of people, bro. I met a lot of good men. I met a lot of good soldiers, street soldiers I met the Magic Man from Florida. I met
who the Magic Man?
He was a big boy in Florida. Big, I met the Flower Man from Florida, from Miami. When I first met him, he wouldn't mess with none of the Florida dudes, but for some reason he got a liking to me. So when a funny story I'm about to tell you, they call him the Flower Man. So, they like, Louie, do you know who that is? All the Florida dudes used to tell me. I said, yeah, that's the Flower Man. But what do you think he does, Louie? I said, man, he's an old man that like to, be in the garden and shit, fucking grow plants and shit. Man, I didn't know, bro, I just met a cool old man, Come to find out he was a big player out of Florida, out of Miami.
Yeah. And
they called him the Flower Man.
Why though? Because
I met a person.
Yeah.
I didn't know a legend like from Florida. To them, he was a legend.
Yeah.
But to me, I met a person.
Yeah.
So when I used to always call him the Flower Man, I thought he was an old man like to play with flowers. What the fuck I knew?
What was his name?
The Flower Man?
No, that was his name, the Flower Man.
Yeah. What was his real name though?
I forgot the Flower Man's name, man. Yeah. But I know the Florida dudes know who he is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I forgot it. We was all in the medical.
Somebody will tell us in the comments.
Yeah, they'll tell you who the Flower Man is.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Magic Man. I was with Magic. He was a big boy out of there. He's the one that told me about how to make money, like through those the ocean liners, the big containers and all that. How he used to make money in Russia. He put me on game on all that. How to go to embassies and get their business books that be costing $300-400, and how to buy cheap product and ship it like every a lot of other countries like United States, that grade A food and stuff like that. And when they opened up, apartheid was over in South Africa, he was running double wides out there and making a killing, had an agent. He used to put me in a lot of games. These dudes, I met a lot of smart men, that they was doing a lot of big things. They used to always school me on a lot of stuff, And but yeah, and like I said, I met a lot of the kingpins from different states, headshot callers. I got to know, I got to, have, relationships with a lot of good people, So, I met 2 boxers that was, champions, not heavyweight. One was a cruiserweight, and the other one was a champ. He became a blood. They were both in my unit. They in the books as title holders, you know. I met them dudes, you know, and I met a lot of, you know, NF men from Northern California, which has like the same title as the Black Hands from Southern California. These are the same from the North, you know. And you know, you be in jail, a man recognizes a man. You know how that goes. And you absorb a kinship that is like second to none. But let me tell you something, man. Through all that, the number one thing that's constant, and that goes to all you youngsters that are watching, is the misery. Nothing like it.
Yeah.
They don't see that.
That's the misery, bro.
Yeah, my boy Moody was trying to tell the kids about that, man. Like
It's the misery.
nobody don't, like, you know, nobody don't tell the kids how to go to prison.
Man, there's no such thing as telling you how to go to prison.
How would you act if you was in prison? You don't teach your kids that. You teach them how to avoid getting in trouble.
He got Lou got his son here, and I just told him, I said, you know, he just in jail with me. So I was like, yo, he can tell you, you gotta stop. You gotta tell your hustle legit now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta spin it.
You gotta take that, man. The jail is not the thing. You just gotta. There's so much hustles out here. There's so much stuff you could do out here. Whether you're going to pick up people trash, you know what I'm saying? Go get that money.
It's a buck.
You know what I'm saying? Like I be seeing people doing the landscaping. I'm like, landscaping. I'm like, hold up, $60 alone. See over there. Pretty long.
That's money.
That's 180. That's in my pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I just tell him, you know.
I got a good friend of mine that's here with me now. He does carpentry himself. You know, he go do work that people give him, and it's all about. And he got a phrase that that's always stuck to my head. He believes in the CNC, chasing checks.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying?
CNC.
So he believes in the CNC, chasing checks.
I'm shaking
because you got to understand, when you go to the feds, there's no money.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you want to try to make $20, $24 a month, brother, then that's for your life. That's for you. Appreciate that, bro. Because I used to tell this to my son when I used to be on the streets. I mean, he was on the streets and I used to be in jail and he used to get me upset. I used to tell him this saying, and at first he could never figure out what I used to tell him. When I used to tell him, when you find yourself by yourself, tell me how it feels, man. I used to always tell him that before I hang up. When you find yourself by yourself, tell me how it feels. Because only people like us that did all that time can answer that question.
I just told him, when you go to jail, I said, yo, don't leave your mans in them. It'd be either your grandmother, your mother, your aunt, your sister. It'd be those people that's really.
And these are people struggling that can only barely give you money.
So that $50, that $100, that $80 that they
and you got to make that stretch. So people don't understand that suffering, that suffering in silence. That's for the birds, man. Because there's nothing in jail but misery, getting high to get out that misery, and problems. Because the first ones to get you is your own. And that's a true bill, because you're always fucking it up for everybody else. Because you're gonna fuck up somehow, because people get desperate. They want to take shit on credit and do dumb shit. Next, they're getting their head cracked, getting their head busted, getting stabbed, getting cut, something, getting stomped out with boots. Man, I seen dudes get stomped out of boots that they rather have got stabbed than get stomped out the way they got stomped out with them damn boots. You understand what I'm saying, though?
Hey, yo, I seen this. Listen, I seen this comedian dude. Right? He said when he was in prison, dudes was like, yo, Mexicans wear boots, right? He's like, fuck you talking about Mexican wearing boots, man? He's like, yo, you see the Mexicans with them boots on, you know something about to happen. So you need to either go get a shank, get away from the Mexicans. Mexicans got on boots, man.
But let me tell you something about the Western. Let me tell you about something about the Western, California Mexicans. If there's a problem with a black dude, let's say here it is, us back here sitting chilling. We from Connecticut. And a dude from DC getting into it with the California Mexicans. When they go off, They don't see, oh, that's DC. They hit all blacks. They don't differentiate one from the other. They blowing everybody up. Now you talking about the Pisces, the Serenos, the motherfucking Tango Blast, the motherfucking the MSs. All these Mexicans and all these different groups are unified as one. The motherfucking what the hell they calling these dudes from they're the dogs. I forgot their name. When these dudes go, they go, they choke people. I mean, it's instantaneous. You understand what I'm saying? So people don't understand the level of anxiety one lives through. You understand?
Yeah.
There's nothing safe about jail. And these youngsters think that just because they tough out here, when you go in there, man, your life changes drastically.
You know, what habits you brought home from being incarcerated?
I'm snappish. I'm real sarcastic. Because one thing I learned is people tell the truth in jokes, especially when they want to be smart asses and they're trying to throw indirects.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a tendency of being snappish. And it's hard for me, and I've been working on it, you know, and it's real hard, and I'm always looking behind me. Because in jail, you know, you always you can never stay comfortable looking one way.
When we went to the ball, right? When we was at the the from quicksand, the solid ground ball, you were sitting in my seat.
Right.
The pillar.
Right. You see where I was at, right?
Exactly. I was telling my wife that.
I said, you see what I was doing, right?
Absolutely. That's my seat.
Yeah. You see, I have my back to the pillar.
To the pillar, yeah.
And I'm looking, I'm always doing this. I can't help it.
That's how I live.
It's instinctual.
You know, it's
instinctual.
When I seen your seat, I was like,
yeah, like people.
That's my seat right there.
That's how you do.
That's how I live.
Right.
Like, my wife, she know. Like, wherever we go, when we go out, and that's just how it is. That's
it's
how
instinctual.
I gotta have I need to see everything in front of me
and nothing behind me. Yes.
People be saying, because you know, when I'm talking to people, I don't give you eye contact. I look around,
right?
Because I'm used to looking at,
right.
I'm looking at people. I'm looking at people's feet.
Yeah,
I'm listening, but I keep my eyes looking at, you know, because I've been in situations that dudes try to pop off. So now I keep my eyes on the floor. Because if I keep my eye on you, I can't see over here.
Exactly.
I keep my eye like this. I can see here and I can see you.
It's like they taking your attention away from your security. Because you always try to defend yourself at all costs.
When people say, you know, you go to job and you got to look people in the face, but I'm so used to give eye contact. Now I got my vision got to
get moves on his own.
So right there.
When you have to visit, you don't want somebody to hit you with the clipboard.
Clipboard.
I mean, they get behind me. They got me.
A clipboard.
At the job interview.
Oh, okay.
No, that's just a habit. The job interview, people are like, yo, you ain't looking them in the face, but like, yeah, I can look them in the face.
I'm looking at you, but he don't know him. I can see everything.
Yeah.
Like right now, looking like this, I see all of this shit.
Yeah.
I can see all of that.
Right.
But that's a habit that I brought home, and people don't be like understanding, like you understand because you understand. Yeah. You play the what? When I was with my wife, she'll sit in the front.
How big was the beds in the feds?
Oh, real small and they're hard. Yeah. So, I came out with bad hips, and a bad back because the beds is, you know how it is, they steel, and the mattress in the feds are this big. I kid you not. They went from the feather big ones, the foam, well, not the foam ones, the stuff ones, you know, that stuff in it.
The cotton type
yeah,
ones.
those are gone.
To that
a little blue foam.
Yeah,
they
did that up here.
They did it.
Yeah, the blue bags.
The blue ones. That's not there. They went to that.
The blue ones we used to take two, open that.
That's how you got to do it. Stuff. And they come take
them.
It'd
be puffy.
Yeah.
And they gave us the brown floor because the joint like this.
Yeah.
And it's slippery.
Yeah. So believe me, man, there's no comfort level.
There's no joy in there.
Nah, because you come out with bad shoulders. I used to wake up with pain in my shoulders, pain in my neck, I got the pain in the hip. Man, I just came out with a pain in the ass, if you ask me. Shit, you know, you the person. Man, let me tell you something. I applaud the heart of men because you're gonna be what you're gonna be. There's no can't take that away from nobody. But at the same time, don't lose what's the most thing that's most precious to you is your life. Because you're gonna grow up to be a man. If you choose to be a man in or out, it's your choice. But don't regret what you're gonna do in your life. Because you know, regrets is like anything else in life. We all got them, and they'll never go away. You know, and I learned that the hard way because when they let me out, I'm the only co-defendant that let out. You know, I did the reentry court here in the feds here in New Haven to get a year off my probation, and one of the judges told me that the rest of my co-defendants ain't got no chance of coming out. You know, I was doing triple life for 20 years, man.
Triple life plus 20.
Plus 20.
Yeah.
I was never supposed to be. Listen, when I used to call my family, and my friend over here, my son can attest to you. I used to tell them, man, I'm a dying jump. They used to ask me about pills and stuff. Man, I peel what? I said, man, I see these dudes in here always talking about going to law library, all that. I said, man, that's all a fiasco. For one thing, they let out who they want to let out. And number two, if you don't have a constitutional argument, you're not getting out of jail. Arguing your case, the law doesn't work like that. You already had your chance when you went to trial and lost.
Yeah.
You can't argue your case again through your filings. It don't work like that. A lot of people sit there and try to reiterate, oh man, but during trial, this one said this. Nah, that was your time to prove your case. At that time. If you don't have a constitutional argument after that, you have nothing coming.
You've been in the library.
Yeah, so once, listen, I was taking the classes to become a paralegal. Yeah. Once I learned that, I don't need to be a no damn paralegal. I ain't getting that. I'm guilty.
Like the stuff I know now, and the way the law's supposed to be. If you bring me to trial, you're not convicting me. You're not convicting me, especially the case I went through. You're not convicting me.
Yeah, but because
I'm gonna prove. Yeah, you got to prove. Yeah. Now, when you get convicted, you
dead.
You got a constitutional whatever violation.
I got out on a Brady violation.
Yeah,
but you had a constitutional violation. There you go.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
You can't go. You couldn't get out and be like, "Yo, man, I ain't do it, man."
Oh,
that gun got found down the street.
What happened? Yeah, that shit.
They're gonna be like, "Why? What a constitutional violation?"
There is. Yeah, that's what
you gotta find a constitutional. Brady is a constitutional.
And they're only gonna let out the people. Like when I was around the World Trade Center doing Josh, he was in MCC Manhattan when they blew up the World Trade Center, right? His uncle is Yusef, the one that's the godfather of suicide bombings in the West Bank. Okay, this is all politics, and people know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I was with the nephew. His name is Ajaj, and his uncle is Yusef, the one that's the mastermind behind 9/11 with the planes. The one that he's in ADX now. When I was with the nephew, he was in jail when they blew it up. They still gave that man 240 years. Mm-hmm. Listen what I'm telling you. You're in jail when it happened, and you still get 240 years. He showed me his paperwork that the Mossad, the British, I mean, the Israeli intelligence, like the CIA over here, they punished him. He showed me pictures. They punished him. He showed me where the CIA offered him $2 million to testify against the blind sheikh and immunity anywhere in the world he wouldn't take it. You understand what I'm saying? These are dudes that I met. You know, you meet these.
Salute them.
Yeah, you salute them. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not a freedom fighter. He was fighting for his land.
Yeah.
So you can't. These dudes will die for what they would. You know.
They gave him all that. They gave him hella time, and he was already in jail.
He was already in jail when it happened.
Yeah, it's that guilty by association.
Right. He got busted coming through the airport, and they locked him up.
So when it happened, on a smaller scale,
right?
When I was a kid in high school, dudes from around my way, just the guilty by association, dudes from the island had a fight with dudes from the jungle. I was already suspended from school. I was suspended already. I didn't go to school that day that the riot happened in school. And I got kicked out of school, man.
Just because you was associated with these
Because
guys.
I was associated. I was from
Right.
Quinnipiac
They knew
Project.
of you that came in.
If I would have been there, of course I would have been with
But they
the
do. But
shits.
now they looking at you suspended. This happened. When you come back to school, you're gonna get on the bullshit for the niggas that didn't get kicked out. You're gonna be on the bull. So they like, let's get him now.
Get rid of him now.
Let's get rid of him now.
Before he come in and start some stuff.
Yeah,
So,
so
like,
I understand why they did what they did, but
Right.
it ain't right.
Right, it ain't right, but
Yeah.
that's how it goes. Like I said, they let out who they want to let out. This all comes down to if you're a person that is not associated and when you get a chance, they let you. You know, you're more likely to get a better chance than a person. That's how I was surprised they let me go, because when I got the compassionate release to come home, you know, what saved me is the victim's family. When the prosecution tried to get them to testify and not to let me out, the chance that I got, they said, man, we're gonna leave it in the judge's hands. If the judge feels that he deserves to come home, then we're gonna trust the judge. If the judge feels that he needs to stay for the rest of the life and don't come home, then we go with that either way. So you don't hear that in cases now. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the judge told me that in all the years of her working in the judicial system, she's never had a person give an apology as sincere as the one I gave. She said she had those that she didn't believe. And then she had those that they sounded good, but in the back of her mind, she had that doubt. She said I was the first person that gave her a shadow of a doubt that I was sincere of what I said, because she was going to deny me. She said my sincere apology showed my redemption. And let me tell you something, man, I'm lucky. People don't get these chances, man.
No doubt.
You know, I got co-defendants that are still in there since 94. Still struggling. Next year, they're going on 30 years in jail. You know, I did 26 and a half. And these men are still fighting that struggle, you know, of being in there, not getting there. I know they look at me and they always like salute me for being home. But at the same time, they want the same chance that I got.
Do you got survivor's remorse? You
Hell no.
Yeah.
Survivor's remorse.
Yeah.
Where they do that at?
Hey man.
Listen,
it's a
one
thing
about it, once I found myself as a person, listen, when I used to be in jail and dudes used to talk to me, they used to always say, man, if you go home, what would you do? You look out for? I said, look out. I said, when I go home, I'm going home with nothing. I got to try to build myself up. You know, I'm coming from jail with nothing to nothing. I said, well, I'm going out there. My family ain't all that, you know. So I can't go out there and be a leech. I got to find my path and take care of myself, you know. So how can I be out here right now as a man I live from check to check? But you know what? Dude. Yeah, but you know what? I'm happy. Because I'd rather do that than live that struggle. You know, I've met millionaires in jail. But they suffer the same suffering that I suffer. Absolutely. So that money didn't mean shit.
Absolutely. Hey, yo,
you understand what I'm saying? So what you think I'd rather be, a motherfucker with money in jail, or check by check brother out here and happy as a motherfucker that, you know, I walk around and I look up in the sky and I see the moon and I see stars and I see a store over here and I see these flowers, I hear these birds and all that. And when you're in the feds, you know, it's a wall. The jail itself is a wall. You don't see no fences or trees, and I mean, what a tree? Exactly. A fence. Yeah. Where you gonna see? All you see is that gray wall. I mean, when you in jail is in stasis. It stays stagnant. You live in a stagnant environment.
It's like Groundhog's Day. Who's seen Groundhog's Day?
Yeah, I seen it.
But for me, doing all the time I did, it's like the same bad week.
Over and over, it repeats
itself over and over and over.
It's the truth. It's a stagnant environment.
10 years go by, and it don't seem like, for me, it ain't seem like I've been in here fucking 10 years. It just seemed like a fucking horrible week.
Listen,
happening.
Right now, listen, let me tell you something. I'm touchy-feely with my girl. Because when I was in jail, you know, you yearn for that. I wake up in the middle of the night to thinking, am I dreaming this? You understand what I'm saying? Am I dreaming this? Am I really home? And I'll get up and look around, and I got sleep apnea, so I got the mask in my face, the air breathing, and I'll be looking around like, and I'll touch her, and I'll caress her, and I'll snatch her and pull her towards me, just to know that I'm alive. No, I'm alive. This is real.
Yeah.
And I do that every night, bro.
You know what I do?
Mm-hmm.
That I do. It's crazy. Like somebody asked me, like they was like weird to them. When it rains, I go in the rain.
It's beautiful.
Remember in Dougal, we can't go outside in the rain.
Wow.
So for 27 years, I've never been outside in the rain.
Check this out. My wife, she could attest to this. Like it'd be raining and we'd be walking together, and she tried to put the umbrella over me, and I move it. Like unless it's like crazy
and
downpour, but like a drizzle or a light rain, I want to feel that.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you a crazy story. They had me on the West Coast, and I'm always in them southern states, so it's always hot. I hate the heat, man. You know, I got 2 stories to tell you. Anyway, when I first came home, they paroled me to Ohio.
3 stories.
Brother,
John Gotti's story. 3 stories.
All right, they paroled me to Ohio to my brother. And it's a blizzard when I first came home in 2020. So I want to be in the snow so bad. So I said, man, let me go out here and shovel the driveway. Man, I went out there in a pair of shorts.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm out there shoveling the snow. My brother's girl pull him like, oh my God, Louie, we got to get you a coat. Ain't you cold? I mean, it's a blizzard. I'm talking about blizzard. It's snowing hard as shit. I'm in the driveway with a pair of shorts. That's it, snowing. Yeah. Shoveling the snow. And I'm like, yo, I don't even feel it.
Yeah.
I love the cold. And she was like, oh my God, I've never seen nothing like that before. So I understand your rain story, man. For me, it's the snow. I love the cold. I don't know, for one reason, I love the cold. I can stand out there and let that cold wrap me, and it feels so fucking good, man. You understand what I'm saying? So the guy Gotti story, the one I always tell everybody, I used to be my walking partner. Either I used to walk with him, because we used to go outside twice a day when we went to phase 3. Phase 3, you go outside. And I walk with him and Sekou Odinga. Those are my 2 walking partners at the time.
Sekou Odinga is the Haitian guy. Right?
No, Sekou Odinga is one of the dudes from the Black Panthers.
All right.
That's Doc's, Mafumu's Shakur.
Yeah.
That's their co-defendants.
All right.
So, I was with Gotti one day, and we used to always talk. He was always telling me how poor he was. And I used to tell him, man, poor. So he's telling me, you ain't poor no more, though, Mr. Gotti. I used to always tell him. I said, you ain't poor no more. He used to be, yeah, but you know, when I was a kid, he used to tell me all these good stories, right? So one day I'm walking with him. I don't know what made me ask. I said, Mr. Gotti, can I ask you a question? He was like, he stopped. He looked at me and said, yeah, you ask me what you want. I said, man, if we was on the streets, would you talk to me? That man looked at me like you looking at me with that serious face. You started smiling and walked away. I was like, oh, hell no, you wouldn't talk to me, man.
Yeah.
So we just kept talking like it was nothing, man. But I had to act. Because every day, that's my walking party. He kick it with me.
Yeah.
And I used to get these, I used to be the porn dude on the block. I used to have a stack from the floor like up here.
Porno, man.
Yeah. I used to have one of the 50 plus.
Yeah.
The older bras. He used to come to Louie, give me a magazine and grab one, but make sure the 50 plus is with it. So every time he used to ask, I used to have to give him the 50 plus with another one. Here you go, Mr. Gotti.
Yeah.
You know? He was a good man, bro. He was a good man, bro. You know? I was with him on until the day he died, bro. You know, but anyway, you know, that's even though it's an experience I had and I got a lot of memories behind it, I met a lot of good men that are there that I know they ain't gonna never get out. Because you meet like-minded men like yourself.
Yeah. Shout out to those guys.
Shout out to every one of them, man, you know, all the good men, you know. And, you know, I was amongst a lot of them. And, you know, I met a lot of legends from New York, you know. And, you know, around Boy George, you know, and good men like that. So I say this to say that, you know, I appreciate one thing. Thank you for inviting me on your podcast, first and foremost.
No doubt.
You know, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here. And I say this to say this, that my experience in life is what I did. Hopefully one day, you know, somebody out there can pick up on what I'm saying and know that it ain't all what you cracked up to be, bro. I live this life of doing what I do and saying what I say. But, you know,
change is good.
Change is always good because, you know, right now I'm out here, you know, doing this with y'all. I do like a lot of speaking engagements because I try to give back from what I used to be to who I am now. I'm in the process now of, you know, building a brand for myself and trying to be acknowledged for the person that I am. And hopefully I can bring good to somebody. And one of my organizations that, you know, I'm trying to start up is called Significant Solutions. Significant Solutions to help, you know, to have that.
Do you have a logo for that?
No, not right now. I got somebody that, you know, I got a graphic artist who's putting it together for me right now.
Yeah.
He's putting my card and everything together. And right now I'm in the process of having that being put together. And, you know, I'm trying to, you know, people that's going to jail to, you know, prep people what, you know, what to do, because I had a thing where, you know, how I killed 85% of the problems in jail, which I probably know you know, and you know, the lifestyle you walk, but, you know, those things are, you know, they ain't paying, they ain't knowing. So I you know, I live by a code that I used to live by. And hopefully my experiences can save young men or women from going through the harder life that they can live being within the walls. Because, you know, it's not easy, but it can be hard as hell.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to ask one question. If Louie was an animal, any animal in the world, what kind of animal would you be?
Oh, I got to represent kingism, man. The lion.
It's just for the say lion.
Yeah, except lion.
Yeah. You always say that though.
Yeah.
Outside of the lion, because a lot of people.
Strong
men gonna say, I'm a lion.
Okay, but I'm gonna say this because we had.
You could be the lion.
Listen. But let me say this, because I used to always bring this philosophy up when I used to be, you know, before we followed the Constitution and Manifesto of the Chicago philosophy. We was charter in Connecticut, charter kings. We believed in a charter, and one thing we believed in is earning your dogs. And the number one dog that's number one killer is who? The African wild dogs. They got an over 85% kill rate. Because when they hunt, they can run for miles at, let's say, I don't know exactly, let's say 20, 24 miles an hour at a trot and run for miles and run any animal down. So they got an 85% kill rate. They are the number one successful hunter in Africa.
The African
wild dog.
Wild dog.
So if I was to be anything, I would be a part of that pack.
The African wild dog.
The African wild dog.
Word up. Hey, yo, shout out to La Isla Spanish Restaurant, man. 2779 Dixwell Avenue, Hamden, Connecticut. Come get some of that good food. It's the month of May.
So that's Mother's Day?
Mother's Day in there and all that.
Okay, I got another special for you. Listen, if you go to La Isla, right, you ask Little Dark, right? You ask her, what's her mother full name? And she answered it. My man Dark gonna pay for 10 people drinks.
Nah, she know her mother full name. She's smart. She a little genius, man. Yo, word up.
You know, sometimes people don't know people. They don't know their mother last name.
Layla know everybody in the house. She know everybody's name. She know Manny, everybody's name. Hey, yo, Beyond TV. Catch Dark and Moody on Beyond TV. You know what I mean? Catch Dark and Moody. If you want some nice drip,
The World.
You go to The World, 59 Welly Avenue, man. Get the nice clothing and all that. You can look good. You know what I mean? How my boy Moody be looking and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this the family right here.
Word, shout out to Wig with the family, man. And shout out to everybody, man. Connecticut, New Haven, Bridgeport, Hartford, Waterbury, New Britain, Norwalk, Stanford,
Hamden,
Hamville,
and all the good men that represents.
Yeah.
Before we go though, I wanted to say something to you. what I wanted to say is my impression of you when you came in and your son introduced me as, this is my son. That right there, that's the biggest thing right there for me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't come with, I got my mans, a couple cousins. No, you're like, yo, I'm with my son. I'm hanging with my son.
That's right.
So that's the biggest thing.
And it's a pleasure because when I left home, my son was 9. When I came home, he was 35.
Oh,
You understand what I'm saying?
He getting pussy now.
Yeah, he got grandkids.
37 when he came home.
Yeah, no, he was 35, puppy. 2020. When I came home, I said, when I came home, you was 35.
Oh,
Yeah.
Listen to my words, puppy.
Wow. Yeah.
So anyway, it was an honor to speak to everybody out here in this podcast. Hopefully I'll be invited again.
Always.
Peace, blessings to one and all.
Word up, man. And shout out to all the real out there, man. And yo, kids, be like us the way we are when we grew up today, but don't be like how we was in the past, man.
That's right.
Because we try to tell you, we really didn't know no better until when we grew up, we understood that what we was doing was wrong. So now that we grew up, we understand this stuff. We trying to get y'all to understand it now.
Right.
Before you do 27 years, 25 years, 17 years, sentence to 100 years, sentence to 3 life sentences. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go to that because some people ain't out. Some people don't get out from that.
And some people, we got a different perspective on life because we wasn't supposed to see the streets again according to the system. But we here, so we got to make a difference, man. And shout out to from Quicksand and Solid Grounds.
Always.
Shout
out to all the finballs out there.
Word.
Almighty.
We out, man. Dark and Moody, all or nothing, man. We out.
Yeah. All right. Peace.